go. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. No one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors, no one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors.
You know, title runs can't last forever.
No.
They just can't. 6 years is quite a long time. Now, here's the funny thing about that fight. All of us out in the Cage Nation were saying Anderson Silva got cocky. And if you remember when Anderson Silva came to the UFC, he put a hurting on Chris Lieben for being cocky. What is the old adage, Drew? You live by the sword,
you die by the sword.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Cage Nation TV. I'm your elected official, Albert Cameron. Beside me, as always, is the Prime Minister looking good, Drew Shannon.
I still don't get that, but okay. You are watching right now. This is one of two episodes, or two of two, whichever you're watching first.
Whichever order.
We'll call this one 7A. There's going to be two episodes this week. This particular episode, is the countdown to VFL 42 in Altoona at the Jaffa Mosque. And it's going to be one heck of a great card. We're going to count it down for you. We're going to talk about the various fights and whatnot. And, of course, our usual segments as well. We'll get into the newsreel, where we may or may not talk about this past Saturday's fight. If we don't talk about it here, we'll talk about it in episode 7B, which will be the companion episode to this one. As we talk about, 7B, we'll be talking about Gladiators in the Cage.
There's the July 19th, July 20th is a huge weekend for MMA. I mean,
yeah. You
and I are doing double duty right now, but I mean,
we're gonna be
this is the bad, like, this is the fun part. You know, we're all getting hyped up for these fights. VFL 42, Broad Avenue Brawler 7, and then the very next day, like, we're getting in tow. We're going to Pittsburgh to Stage AE, and we're checking out Gladiators of the Cage. So we got breakdowns for you. We got every reason why you guys need to be at both of these events.
And it's two parts. It's two parts. You thought we didn't want to give you an extra long episode like we did last week, where the actual interview was viewed more than the episode. But hey, come on, it's Ken Shamrock.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the interview with Ken Shamrock, Ken and his agent Charlene, thank you guys again very much for being involved in Cage Nation TV. I can tell you that everyone who is in the Cage Nation really, really enjoyed it. So thank you again, Ken, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
And I can also tell you that coming very, very soon, we'll be talking to... We can't tell you.
It's a surprise.
But we'll tell you, we're going to be talking to another UFC legend very, very soon, so stay tuned. How soon will that be, my friend?
Well, they're watching the countdown episodes today. Sometime next week, I believe.
All right, sometime next week, a brand spanking new edition of Cage Nation TV with our special guest, UFC legend. Okay,
attaboy.
Coming up, the newsreel, and then we'll begin the countdown to VFL 42 in Altoona at the Jaffa Mosque. You're watching Cage Nation TV, episode 7A.
It's time for another edition of Cage Nation TV Newsreel, spanning the globe to bring you the latest news in MMA.
Well, the Iceman cometh to tell you to suck it up. A lot of fighters have been hitting the media hard recently to complain about how much fighters get paid. The Iceman, Chuck Liddell, recently went on record to say, quote, "You fight good, you win, you get paid, all right? You're starting out. No one knows who you are. No one cares. You don't get paid. Period. It's simple. I mean, my first contract I was offered by the UFC, or my second contract, it was 1-1, 2-2, and 3-3. That's $12,000 for the year. Don't complain to me about fighter pay. It was $12,000 for a year, and it was exclusive," end quote. Liddell fought most of his fight career for the UFC with a few rare occasions. When he fought for Pride, he fought as a UFC representative. Well, it's been signed and approved by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. Dignan Brumbaugh MMA fighter Ryan Glunt is officially coming out of retirement and will be fighting at Valley Fight League 42 against Matthew Dean. Glunt will be taking on Dean at welterweight at the July 19th card instead of his regular lightweight. Ryan Glunt has not fought since a September loss to Billy Ward in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. We'll call this one a comeback, maybe. The Huntington Beach bad boy Tito Ortiz has taken to Twitter to allege that MMA seems fun again and that he may want to come back. Ortiz also alluded on the social media platform that he may not be returning with the UFC. When Ortiz indexed his tweets, he made sure to mention Viacom, the parent company of UFC rival Bellator. We'll keep you posted.
Welcome back to Cage Nation TV. Drew Shannon, Albert Cameron. We are the iCarly of the MMA world, except for the fact that, well, we don't do goofy skits, we don't have random dancing, and we're not a couple of teenage girls.
I've actually never watched iCarly.
I have an 11-year-old child. I'm pretty much have to.
Safe.
Alrighty then.
Well, as we mentioned in the newsreel,
Yeah.
Ryan Glunt is coming out of retirement for Valley Fight League 42 Broad Avenue Brawlers.
I cannot wait to see Ryan back in the cage. That is going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
We wish him nothing but the best of luck.
Last time we saw Ryan fight was Clearfield, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
When him and Billy Ward threw down, and that fight in Clearfield, Pennsylvania was just a great fight all around. There was a lot of great fighters who came to the part of the world where Albert Cameron grew up.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But, you know, all roads lead somewhere, and that road, in particular, is leading to the Jaffa Mosque for Valley Fight League 42 Broad Avenue Brawler 7.
Altoona, PA, it is going to be an event July 19th. Get your tickets now. We'll throw up on the screen here, somewhere around here, where you can get your tickets.
VFLMMA.com.
That's where. Right.
All right.
Let's move on, shall we?
That'd be appropriate now to break down the undercard.
Sure.
Some of the fights we're going to see. For anyone who's been to any of the fights in Altoona, and it's not just Valley Fight League, but a couple other promotions as well, you're going to recognize a lot of names and faces. Valley Fight League's doing a great job about bringing the best of the Altoona fighters right here to one event. Now, before we get into the MMA stuff, I just want to let you know that we have confirmed it will not be kickboxing prior to the MMA. It will be traditional boxing. So Valley Fight League is bringing you the sweet science, followed by the world's fastest growing sport. And if you've never seen them tear down a ring to a cage, it is actually really something to see. I was really impressed.
It is very impressive the way those guys go in there and they handle the set and everything, for lack of a better word, the set. And it's a little time consuming sometimes, but by God, they know what they're doing. They want to make sure that everything is in place, that everything is functional, everything is working, and that the fighters are safe. So they're going to take their time doing it. Just sit back, watch the show, and just enjoy yourselves. Come out to Altoona on July the 19th, the Jaffa Mosque for VFL 42. It's going to be awesome. And
Absolutely.
shall we run down the...
What's the first fight you got there, Drewski?
what is the first fight I got? The undercard looks like this. Roman Swain... Is it Swainer?
I believe Swainer.
All right.
If not Roman, come up to us at Valley Fight League 42. Tell us, hey guys, my name is pronounced X, and we'll go on and correct ourselves.
Roman Swainer versus Brandon Lux. Now, Lux had an incredible bout against Scott Athey back at VFL 40.
Brandon Lux is a part of the gym Damage Inc. out of Johnstown.
Right.
Damage Inc., of course, is the gym that trains Maggie O'Neill and Melanie Bremer. I think we ended up giving him the nickname when we did that other program about MMA, but that's where thugs go to train. Like, Brandon Lux is a dangerous human being. He just is, and it's not because he's a bad guy. He's looking to do like fight outside the ring. He's just, as soon as that cage door shuts, Brandon Lux is someone who is ready to fight. When he fought Scott Athey at Valley Fight League 40, I mean, he was displaying some great taekwondo. His hands were flying. He was comfortable on the ground. Brandon Lux is just an incredible athlete. He's a very sturdy middleweight too.
Right. There's
a lot of guys who will fight at middleweight because they're taking a fight on short notice when they normally fight at 170. Brandon Lux is just a sturdy brick house middleweight. And you know, this month in particular has been a huge month for middleweights. One, Anderson Silva lost his title.
Right.
Two, the main event of Valley Fight League 42 is a middleweight bout. So July 2013 is just a great month for middleweight. So I think Brandon Lux is going to do some pretty incredible things in the cage.
Now, Swainer has a TKO victory over Paul Riggleman, also at VFL 40.
Again, Valley Fight League's doing a great job of bringing the best of the guys in the Altoona region into one cage. Paul Riggleman, I believe, and I can't confirm this, I think Paul Riggleman was kind of under the weather when he fought last time, so I don't think he really had a great opportunity to display what Paul Riggleman can really do.
Right.
But Roman Swainer, he got the TKO victory, and that's what's bringing Lux and Roman together in one cage, and I think it's going to be a great fight.
All right. Well, speaking of both Scott Athey and Paul Riggleman, they'll be squaring off in the next bout.
I'm not sure what was in Scott Athey's head last time we saw him fight, because you and I you were there. We were there.
Right.
We were there. Scott Athey had a hard time doing offense at all. Again, I don't know what was in Athey's head.
Right.
Brandon Lux was really opening up
Yeah.
a butt kicking clinic on him, and his corner ended up throwing in the towel. We've seen fights that have just been canceled for really stupid reasons, contract disputes, guys don't want to fight anything. Scott Athey showed up, regardless of if he won the fight, what heart he had in the cage is irrelevant. He showed up. He took his lumps.
Right.
The fight before Brandon Lux, Scott Athey was taking names. He won that fight decisively. Scott Athey's killer instinct is there. It's just he didn't bring it with him when he fought Brandon Lux.
Right.
So Valley Fight League is giving him an opportunity to really show off that killer instinct again.
And this fight is going to come down to technique and conditioning.
Oh, absolutely. Paul Riggleman is in the gym, and the name escapes right now. But Paul Lionheart Riggleman, he's in there. He's training. He's got great technique going on. He's really employing a lot of styles of traditional martial arts, but he's also getting in the well-roundedness of mixed martial arts. Again, another incredible fight. You're only as good as your last fight, but I hope Scott Athey proves me wrong.
Let's see. Brett Showtime Schoenfeld. There's a name we haven't seen in quite some time. Looking forward to seeing him in action. He's slated to be on the card. His opponent has yet to be named, however.
Mixed martial arts changes so often that, Lord only knows who we're going to talk to on any given day.
Right.
Brett Schoenfeld has been training. He's been training hard. I believe down in Fairfax, Virginia, he's been training. So, to travel that far to fight in Altoona means he's got something really premium up his sleeve. We haven't seen Brett Showtime Schoenfeld fight since he fought Billy Ward back in March.
That's what I believe I'm seeing, yes.
Back in March. Billy Ward is no joke.
No.
Billy Ward is another brick house, especially when he fights at welterweight. Schoenfeld normally fights at 155, I believe. So, Schoenfeld took a naturally sturdy guy who could easily fight at welterweight and just really took him to school. He really took him to class. And so whoever Brett Schoenfeld's fighting, I'm sure it's going to be an incredible fight. And I'm saying all these fights are incredible and exciting, not because I'm trying to do hype work, but because I truly believe it.
Right.
I've seen a lot of fights. I've seen a lot of fights, especially in the amateurs, where I'm thinking, oh, it's not going to be that great. And they absolutely blow my expectations away. And I really think that this will be the case with Valley Fight League 42.
Now, when this man says exciting, awesome, and uses all those fancy Dan adjectives to describe a fight or a fight card, you best damn well believe this man means business. He knows what he's talking about. Charlie the Madman Gathers may be looking for another opponent, and no information at this time is available.
I love Charlie Gathers.
I do too.
Charlie Gathers is a guy who trains, and he gets himself into this beast mode condition.
Right.
Before he's ready to fight. He was scheduled to fight, Lawrence is his last name. I'm told Lawrence pulled out of the fight. So Charlie Gathers is still going to fight, he hopes. But now he's training on short notice again. And, I've seen Charlie Gathers take short notice fights, and, it's kind of flip of a coin whether or not it's going to work out for him.
Right.
I know the Madman is really bummed out because he had a plan, he was heading in a direction, and now that road has been changed on him. I will tell you guys this, especially for the folks who are watching who aren't used to or know what's going on with Valley Fight League in the Altoona area. That's my job to educate you guys on that.
His job.
Our job.
Our job.
Our job.
Our job.
Our job.
Yes.
Charlie the Madman Gathers is a dangerous human being when it comes to the cage, but that man wears his heart on his sleeve. So with a fight cancellation, I know he's taking it really, really hard. But whoever decides to step in the cage with him, be prepared for a very unpredictable Charlie Gathers. There's no way to tell what kind of state of mind he's going to be in.
Exactly. All right, we're going to get to our complete VFL 42 card in just mere moments, and then we're going to be talking about the main event, and it is going to be one heck of a main event, and that'll be Garshnik versus Goodridge. So stick around. We'll have more on VFL 42 in Altoona at the Jaffa Shrine, July 19th. Don't you dare miss that fight. We'll have the rundown of the main event coming up next. Cage Nation TV.
Emerging from the Flood City is Cold Steel MMA powerhouse Eli Garshnik. Garshnik is a two-time NCAA All-American from the University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown. And in addition to his mat skills, he's a judo black belt under Joe Bufagna. Those are only facets of Garshnik's skills as a warrior. His mixed martial arts record tells a very different story. Eli Garshnik is a champion, having won titles in both his amateur and pro career. If there's been a fight with a challenge within a few hundred miles of the Flood City, Eli Garshnik has been ready for battle. In the main event of Valley Fight League 42, Eli Garshnik welcomes Shedrick Goodridge to Broad Avenue. Coming into the middleweight showdown at the Jaffa Mosque is Bellator veteran Shedrick Goodridge. Goodridge, coming all the way from the Garden State, is bringing a new level of competition to the Valley Fight League cage. He brings experience like his opponent has not fought before. Shedrick Goodridge has a completely spotless amateur record and has pro wins over Brett O'Terry, Michael Wilcox, and James Fryer. On July 19th, Shedrick Goodridge is bringing a freight train worth of fight experience all the way to the cage at Valley Fight League.
Well, that's kind of the tale of the tape, my friends. Albert, what is your take on this main event at VFL 42?
Like I said, July is the month for middleweights.
Yeah.
Eli Garshnik is absolutely no joke when it comes to the guys he's fighting. I mean, he has like 9 wins, and all those wins have been coming by ways that may or may not violate the Geneva Convention. The man is tough. Shedrick Goodridge is a Bellator fighter.
I was going to mention that he is a Bellator fighter, as we mentioned in the video package there. I mean, how do you go into a fight knowing that you're taking on somebody who is, you know, good enough for Bellator? I mean, if they're good enough for Bellator, they're an ass-kicking machine.
If you're Eli Garshnik, you want to beat Shedrick Goodridge, and then you want to call Viacom and say, "Hey Bellator, my name's Eli Garshnik. I fight out of Johnstown. What's up?"
Or Viacom takes notice of you automatically and says, "Hey, Eli, what's up?"
Oh, you mean like when Daryl Horcher fought in Altoona?
Something like that. It's
Yeah.
Complete devastation, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that something like that happened.
If you guys are watching Cage Nation TV right now and you're wondering what good can come out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, the answer is a lot.
Yeah.
The Altoona Johnstown State College area is like this triangle formation on this fight scene that is absolutely incredible. If you haven't been a part of it, if you haven't gone to a live event and seen these crowds and just contribute to the energy, you're really missing out. If you sit around your house and say, "Oh, I like the UFC, I watch UFC all the time, I know what's going on," but you haven't gone somewhere close enough to like Altoona, the Jaffa Shrine, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
You know, like I'll sit and talk with you about MMA all day long, but if you don't get out and take the opportunity to go see this stuff live and see what a real show and event these kind of things could be, I just got no time for it, because I'm spending my productive time going and seeing the stars of tomorrow, and that's who these guys really are. So Eli Garshnik, we sat near his family at VFL 40.
I believe we did, yes.
The Garshnik family was
Was
right.
it 40 or 41?
We were at 40.
We were at 40, that's
We
right.
were at 40. Broad Avenue Brawler 6. Charlie Brenneman fought in Altoona. The Spaniard, UFC lightweight, Altoona. Yeah, so you need to be at these fights.
And from what I understand, Mr. UFC?
Mr. UFC himself fighting at Valley Fight League.
That's what the ring announcer said, at least.
That's what he said.
Okay.
Alrighty. So Eli Garshnik and Shedrick Goodridge. So we have a guy who's fought in Bellator. We have a guy who has come into the Altoona Johnstown State College area and said, "This is my playground. Good luck if you come into it."
Right.
So now we have a middleweight showdown that I could. There is no other main event that makes sense more than Goodridge versus Garshnik in my mind. Especially, you know, with all the talent pool already on the card. It makes sense.
All right. Well, there you go. That's your main event. VFL 42, Broad Avenue Brawlers 7. Can't keep track of these Broad Avenue Brawlers. I don't know why. But it's Broad Avenue Brawlers 7, July 19th at what time?
I believe bell time is 6:37.
6:37?
Doors open at 6, bell time is 7.
Ah, there you go. Say 6:37, that's kind of an odd time, but I believe you were saying 6:30 or 7.
6:30 You know, to be honest with you, I'm kind of amazed that I could do this without like counting them first, considering the school I went to.
Bro, I couldn't even count from that angle. So, anyways.
Nice.
Get your tickets now, VFLMMA.com, or can they get them at the Jaffa Shrine?
You can. I wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, get them now. Get them in advance. You don't want to risk the sellout because it is going to be a great event. Jaffa Mosque, July 19th, VFL 42, Broad Avenue Brawlers 7. Up next, the Cameron Perspective. We just want to go to that right now?
Let's just do the Cameron Perspective.
All right, I'm stepping out. It's all you.
One of my favorite things that I do, and it's not because I'm a glory hog, I try to be a humble human being, but one of the favorite things I do is when I get to put together hype videos or episodes explaining why fights are exciting. And you should be too. We're at an age in the UFC where someday I'm going to be old, decrepit, wearing a fedora hat, a smoking jacket, and a cigar, telling you about the glory days of Altoona, Pennsylvania, and the fight scene. That's what I want for myself. And you guys have the opportunity to be that too. We're in a day and age where we can look up fight stats on the internet instantly, on our phones even. We don't even need to be near a computer. These guys are going on to bigger and better things. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to see an Eli Garshnik, that you're going to see a Brett Schoenfeld, that you're going to see Paul Riggleman on The Ultimate Fighter and on the big cage. And we have an opportunity now to say, hey, you know what, we saw those guys win. And you know, like, we watch these fights on TV. I remember a time, probably around 2006, 2007, I was meeting my mentor, Drew Shannon, and I was sitting around being like, man, how cool wouldn't it be if I couldn't go see a fight somewhere real close? And guess what? It happened. Perseverance happened. And because of that, because I'm so grateful, I go to all these fights as much as possible. When I go to these fights, it's such a community, such a strong energy that I get to be a part of. And for you guys watching, I want you to be a part of my energy too. I'm no one special. I'm just someone who spends his time watching a sport I love and putting the skills I've got to make it at least a little entertaining for you guys. And I want you guys to be part of your energy. And you know what? I want to be a part of your energy too. So the Cameron Perspective for this week is get out and support your local MMA because you have no idea where these guys are going tomorrow.
That is the Cameron Perspective. We'll be back next week with a special interview, a special guest, if you will, a UFC legend in his own right.
Well, not just a UFC guest or legend.
Was that you?
That was someone in the back of the Cameron
even if it's on vibrate, it's noisy. Not just a UFC legend.
Well, not just we're gonna bring you guys an interview. We're gonna bring you Cage Nation TV as you guys love it. But we're also gonna do like a little recap episode of Valley Fight League 42.
Sure.
So you know, like that'd be a great time to come up to us when we're there and say, hey guys, what did you think of the fight? We'd love to know what you think. So we're going to bring you a great episode of Cage Nation TV next week. Mm-hmm. Interview with a UFC legend, but we're also going to bring you a recap of Valley Fight League 42 and Gladiators of the Cage North Shore Rise to Power 2.
And we will be live at both events, so you don't want to miss it. And we'll be, we'll have a rundown from each event, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like we did with WCC6, you know, we're gonna hang out while the cage is being teared down. We're going to talk about the exciting fights we saw, and I've yet to go to a live fight with these local guys that we know and be disappointed ever.
I don't think I've been disappointed yet.
No.
All right, we'll tune in next week. And stay tuned here on YouTube. We're going to have a second edition of Cage Nation TV. It's going to be our countdown to Gladiators of the Cage North Shore's Rise to Power 2 coming up.
Like right now.
Right now. So once you're done watching this, watch the other episode.
It's a different newsreel.
It's a different newsreel.
Different fights being recapped.
Different fights.
And a different Cameron Perspective.
But it's the same two. And we're going to be
we're going to be wearing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for episode 7B. That's coming up here on YouTube.
And we'll see you guys at Valley Fight League 42 on July 19th.
This has been Cage Nation TV.